It's the third Saturday of the month, which means we're back for Game Club. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
These weird months keep throwing me off, man. It's like either super late or super early. I don't know what's going on
Were
anymore.
we just doing this?
Hello.
And Musum.
Hello.
We are here to talk about Dream Daddy for the somehow appropriately numbered episode 69. I swear we did not plan this. I promise you. And I also did not realize until I started typing up the show notes about 10 minutes ago and went,
Yep, and then we got a double of that because then I opened up my Audition to do the save file for the show and then burst out giggling.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, of course.
You're internet professionals here at TVGP. So we are here to talk about Dream Daddy. Let's break down all the deets before we get into our thoughts. Game released July 20th, 2017 on PC, October 30th, 2018 on PS4, and July 2nd, 2019 on the Switch. Developed and published by Game Grumps. Time travel, Metacritic 72, OpenCritic 73. Just realized I didn't do Pierce release date. Go look that up on Wikipedia. Like I do. I'm sure they were all winners. 2017 was a good year. Prey came out that year. Go play Prey.
Wheel of Sevens, man. I'm telling you.
That's right.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. The question we ask every week: top of the pile, middle of the pack, or overlooked?
This thing was... I don't know about you guys, but... Because let's face it, this is highly subjective.
Sure.
Like, this question is highly subjective, and it's also based around the circles that you run in.
Mm-hmm.
And I run in the Giant Bomb circles, which means that everybody... Well, sorry, correction. I run in the Giant Bomb and the TVGP pup circles, which means that it's a visual novel that everybody was talking about when it came out.
Right. Well, and I think it got a lot of press. For me, it's top of the pile. I think because of... It got so much positive press. Number one being... a visual novel from a Western company, but also for being a game that is, even without playing it, is an LBGT friendly game that isn't making fun of anybody. Like, it's not just like, oh, a bunch of dads dating, a bunch of weirdos, you know, like...
I'd say if this thing was making fun of anybody, it's making fun of dads, because there's a whole bunch of dad-related content in there.
Yeah. So I'd say for me, it's top of the pile, mostly because a lot of people were like, hey, this thing came out and it's actually not making fun of people, which is really great.
Yes.
All I remember is people being excited for it. You know, I mean, I have similar podcast listening, so you know, you had Abby and whoever else at Giant Bomb talking about it, and Patrick Klepek did a big article on Waypoint over his character.
I think it feels very much like when we're recording this, Boyfriend Dungeon is not out yet, and I feel like Dream Daddy's early hype is very much like Boyfriend Dungeon is right now, where it's like, okay, cool, this is like a very gay and friendly sort of game, and it certainly doesn't seem like it's making fun of anyone, so this all looks really good.
I've never heard of that game until you just said it, but Boyfriend I swear Dungeon? if it doesn't have a BDSM storyline in there, I will be disappointed with a name like Boyfriend Dungeon.
It's a dungeon crawler where you date your swords.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'm a Kickstarter backer of it. It's the developer who did another game that I can't think of right now that I really, really like a lot.
I think it's... I want to say it's Kit Fox Studio.
Kit Fox, yeah.
Yeah, they've done a bunch of really cool indie stuff. But yes, Boyfriend Dungeon will be added to the Game Club list, I'm sure, once it comes out.
It will be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. All right, let's talk about the game itself, what we liked, what we didn't like. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
With things I did like. The jokes.
Yes.
I like terrible jokes.
This game is laced with puns.
Yes. If you're not a patron, then you probably didn't listen to the Outcast episode where I talked about that stupid skeleton video, where it's not even a good joke, but every single time I see that video, I am giggling my face off.
Yeah.
Because the presentation is so earnest.
Yes.
And because the other guy is so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And this game is just full of those jokes.
Yeah.
Like, the writing in this is absolutely incredible. Like,
one of the
spoiler
highlights.
Yes, spoiler alert for last episode and this episode of Game Club, where I say, hey, guess what? I ended up going for the goth guy because I 100% called my shot. And literally, I think it's the first date you go out with him on. He's talking about like how he got into the goth lifestyle, and he says, oh, he went to a parade, and then your character responds with, like, did your father take you? Was it dark? And starts reciting the lyrics to Black Parade by My Chemical Romance in 100% earnestness.
That's really good.
And it's just like, okay, I can get behind this. Like,
also, special credit to the writing for naming the goth dad Damien Bloodmarch. It's really good.
Yes.
Yeah. I would agree. I think the writing. I'm happy that they didn't. The game could have been one dad joke after another, one pun after another, and I think it is, but I think it does a really good job at balancing that. Like, there are real moments of sweetness, and there are real moments of your dad being a good parent and being a good father and being a good friend, and then you'll make some sort of terrible pun about where you're at or what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not all like wall-to-wall puns, which I think is really smart.
Yeah, it feels very natural the way they're placed in. Like, because I do it too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I make the worst jokes ever. Not in the content-wise worst jokes, more in the fact that it's just a bad joke.
Just groan-worthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I make them all the time, but it's one of those things where, like, you see your moment, you slip it in there, you make the bad joke, and you walk away. And
Right.
it feels like the writers in this just absolutely nailed that. Like, when they're talking about the grill meetup, and there's just a whole bunch of grill puns, it's like, you know what? Like, 6 dads all around a grill would 100% be making all of those puns.
They went for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the writing, even if I felt like everyone was a little too clever. It was like a Joss Whedon show problem. Like, I
Right.
still really enjoyed it. I still liked everything about it, but like every character was so like
So quick. There was no
on the
Jane.
nose.
Yeah, there was no Jane from Firefly where he's just an idiot and doesn't get what everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
Everybody is very Captain Mal, where it's just like instant responses, like go, 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 go.
Yeah, there's a quote I always remember, which is, the writer crafts their perfect world. And this game very much feels like everyone says the right thing at exactly the right time. And I agree with you. I think that is, if there is a downside to the writing, I think it is a little too clever.
Okay, let me just rewind to that phrase you just mentioned.
Yes.
The writer crafts their perfect world.
Yeah.
How messed up is Stephen King's perfect world?
Hey man, Maine's a dark and lonely place, man. I was also a fan of the art style. I think all the dads looked significantly different from each other, and I think everybody felt well represented. And I think the one thing that a lot of visual novels can understandably skimp out on and do that pretty quickly is the backgrounds. And I feel like Dream Daddy did a really great job at doing that. There was a scene, the dad that I went for in my playthrough was obviously Matt, the coffee shop owner, because I wanted to smooch him real bad. And during one date, I think it's like your second date, you try to figure out how to go buy pot, and you do like a back alley deal to go buy some really bad high school pot, and they drew a back alley for that instead of just like, oh, I'm out in front of the coffee shop and we're in the back alley now. And that was pretty impressive from a visual novel standpoint. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, by the way, this is probably my second visual novel.
Okay.
Because we did the most scarring visual novel first for my very first visual novel.
Which one was that one?
DDLC, dude. DDLC.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah.
So you got pushed in the deep end with piranhas for the first one. This is a much friendlier experience.
Literally, I have both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I have the worst, and then the most greenfield one ever.
Yeah.
So, I had mixed feelings about the mini games. Like on the one hand,
Yeah.
whenever they happened, it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, playing them was another thing. Like, so in my playthrough, I went in thinking, okay, I'll give a couple of these dads a try. I'm like, okay, Matt seems really cool.
Yeah.
And then there's the goth guy. So let's try those two at first. And on Matt, I can't remember if it was the first date. It must have been the first date where you go to the concert.
Oh god, that was the worst.
I fell off the map and lost him throughout the show.
Oh wow.
So like I got like kind of what directed me finally into going to Damien was all Damien's dates ended with an S or A grade, and all Matt's dates ended with a B grade. So for me, it was like, okay, obviously the attraction is there for Matt, but we just aren't clicking. So I let the mechanics kind of interpret it that way for me, but also at the same time, like those many games were a little weird, and it wasn't always clear, like
What
kind of the
I'm
goal or
supposed
how
to do,
long.
yeah. What platforms did we all play this on?
PC.
Switch.
I played on iOS, where
Okay, so we literally played it on the entirety of the 3 different platforms.
Yeah, it appears that I couldn't fail any mini games on iOS, which I thought was really great. that would be my preference.
Well, I mean,
I don't know how you do that crowd management.
It was not fun. No.
I showed my gaming chops by getting an S in every single minigame I played because I am the baddest person around.
I did really like the Pokemon scene at the very beginning.
With Brian.
Yeah, where you're trying to out brag your kid. I thought that was really just like graphically it's really great. The sound and the music was perfect. It's like, all right, you really went for something special here.
Like literally, they're aiming for dads because people our age who have kids.
You played Red and Blue.
You have a human child.
I do.
Newsom has a canine child, and we have feline childs.
Right.
So it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, we get it. With the right age group, we played those original games. We listened to the really bad chiptune audio music that they did.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, they really knocked it out of the park with the facial expressions on the characters.
Yes.
Which I think just contributed to all of this. Like, it was rare that a scene was happening and the facial expression did not work for that scene.
Yeah, especially when, like, there's a really great scene a little bit halfway through the game where Amanda is talking about how her friends have sort of left her behind and they're off having fun by themselves, and like one of the Emmas is dating the guy she had a crush on. It's like
Emma P is dating Noah. Thank you very much.
Yes,
as a
thank you.
dad, you need to pay more attention to.
I know that there's an Emma.
You sure
P
it wasn't
and
Emma R?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Emma R. It was Emma P because Emma R is the other one.
The one who I chose pooped herself at a party, and then Amanda says, "No, Dad,
nope,
that was me."
you." Yep.
Yeah. I do have to say, from a story standpoint, I do really like that the game is just like, wow, all these hot dateable dads live in the same cul-de-sac I moved into. And the game is just like, that's weird. Moving on. It's just like, I like that it didn't even try to explain it. It's just like, here's why this story works. We're just gonna keep moving.
Yeah, there is no town gremlin who happens to live on the same block kind of thing. It's just all.
I did have like a worry starting out because like who was it? Like Matt and the teacher whose name I forget.
Mr. Vega.
Hugo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Matt and Hugo are in that art conversation at the beginning, and I'm like, oh man, this is way over my head. Should these two be dating? I'm lost here. And like, there were a few conversations between the dads like that where it really made me wonder if like there was going to be like some other weird like jealousy thing in there. But it's all, aside from my daughter chewing me out at the end of the game out of nowhere.
Oh, you got the bad Amanda ending.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she basically told me that I was a friend to her, and that was great, but now she has to go and learn to live without me, and she could have helped. I can't remember exactly what her criticism was, but it was very confusing.
Oh wow.
And
I
out of
didn't,
nowhere.
I didn't manage to get that.
Like, she was happy, but then she also chewed me out and stormed off, so I don't...
Okay. Well, she's a teenager.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I
Yeah.
evidently did something wrong and wasn't dad-like enough or something.
Yeah.
I think there is. I think if you push her too hard and don't give her distance, I think that's how you end up getting on the wrong
Right.
side of it. Like if you don't back up a touch at certain points.
Yeah,
I'm not
because there's like
100%
3 or 4
sure
times in the
because-
game you can push.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure exactly how you get there because I think my wife played this before I did. So she played this a long time ago when I actually first picked her up. And as I was going through the game, she was like, "Are you pushing her too hard?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm asking if everything's okay, and then I'm going to bake her a strawberry cake."
I like that. I like her instincts kicking in and be like, "You're not pushing her, right?" It's like, "No, we're fine. Everything's okay."
I didn't think I was pushing her at all. I think the only time, like, I had the character get upset with her was that night that she stayed out too late. It's like,
Yeah, that's not okay, Amanda.
you're
Amanda
living in a
Panda.
house, you need to communicate. Like, other than that, I just tried to be her friend because, I guess just slightly personal note about me. Like, I love my parents and all, but we aren't, like, I don't know that I would call us friends. Like, I'm not going
Sure.
to talk to them about music I listen to. I'm not going to go and play games with them or whatnot, but I go and eat with them and talk with them every once in a while, but we have almost nothing in common.
Right,
So,
way
like, to
it
me,
should
the
be.
fantasy is, oh, these two should be friends, because that's an awesome thing that I've never had.
Because they watch Ice Road Haunted Ghost Truckers all the time.
Yep. Which
Oh, man, that's
100% feels like Supernatural. Like that feels
Yeah.
like whoever wrote that is a big fan of Supernatural.
Yeah. I like then in the ending he gave her the, what was it, 19 disc
The
box set.
19 season.
19
box set.
season, yes. So good.
Yeah, that would match with on that Supernatural.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly.
Season 15 comes out this year, folks.
That's
my
right.
gosh.
The ending, allegedly.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, about 4 times. I'm not sure I have much else to add about Dream Daddy, other than I really enjoyed it. I as someone who is a visual novel fan, I was probably going to enjoy it from that standpoint because there's 133,000 words in this game, so I knew I was going to love it no matter what. But I think
hold on, did you do like a search to see how many pages there was essentially
No, that
before
was
you got into it?
That was the Wikipedia page from about 3 minutes ago. That's the only reason I
Okay.
remember.
And how many words are in Danganronpa or whatever it's called?
God, 50 million? I don't know. God, so many. I thought it was a really solid game. It's not one of my favorite visual novels, but I think it is a solid game, a solid story, and I think from a visual novel beginner standpoint, I think it's a really great title. You know, we talk about, beginner roguelikes on We Roguelike It a lot. And the Dream Daddy would be for me a starter visual novel, just like it's going to take you 5 hours for one route, not 60. The writing is solid, the music's good, like everything's good about it. If you like this, dive deeper. If you don't, well, you just spent 10 hours, and that's okay.
Yeah. On the minigame front, did anybody have any minigames they actually liked a lot?
No.
I really only went on dates with 2 characters, I gotta be honest with you. Like, I didn't do the first 1 or 2 dates with everyone else. Like, I kind of want to go back and date, is it the guy with the wife? I want to see what that storyline is.
Joseph?
Yes, Joseph.
Joseph.
I didn't know that
I-
his last name is Christensen.
Oh,
That's
come on.
a little too on the nose, but I like it.
I avoided him like the plague. It's like, get away from me with
Yeah.
the youth pastor stuff. Like, just no.
The
I've
creepy
seen
kids.
people like you in media all over the place. I don't need no more youth pastors in my life. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of really liked Brian's second date minigame, which is a match 3 fish game.
That's
You have
really
to
good.
match 3 fish and get points based on how you do with the matching 3 game.
That's really good.
His first one is mini golf.
That's also really good.
Until you play it, yes, it is.
Oh, bummer. Yeah. I get what they were going for with the mini games, because a lot of times in visual novels, like, you need something to break up reading. Like that, because that's all they are, is just text on a screen. And I appreciate them going for it, but I think they all needed another pass.
Yeah. Well, it feels like the strengths of this team is the writing and the art,
Yeah.
not necessarily the actual programming of the video game side of things.
Right. Not the gamey games.
I will say I did like the music in it. It was like I guess when a lot of the times when I'm criticizing soundtracks and stuff, I'll criticize soundtracks for not being functional enough. And this one I think has kind of the opposite problem in that it is so functional that you don't notice it whatsoever, which I think is mostly good, aside from the MIDI music when you hear him sing Dream Daddy.
But it's not like a Hans Zimmer score coming in and being like, here's how to feel.
Yeah. I wish they had done something like just tweaked it a little bit from what you'd expect just to make it a little bit more memorable. But overall, I think they did a good job. I couldn't find a lot of information online, but the guy who did the soundtracks, his name is Jesse Cale. I have not found any other games that he has done online, but he evidently has done the instrumental beats for some epic rap battles videos, including Mozart versus Skrillex, Romeo and Juliet versus Bonnie and Clyde, and Master Chief versus Leonidas.
Oh, jeez.
I haven't watched those videos in a while, and apparently I've missed some real hot ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't caught up with him in a while either. But he has some really long interviews online that look interesting where he doesn't talk about Dream Daddy at all, it looks like.
Okay.
So my guess is he did the music and delivered that to someone who is directing the sound and music for the game. So he's
right.
I know the composer always gets all credit for that, but the reality is in a game, like, they are taking all the parts of that music and they're playing it randomly and dynamically or reactively. So like there's a whole nother sound team there making that thing come to life too. But anyway, overall, I really like the game. I still may go back just because I want to see. I feel like the most drama is going to be in Joseph's story since he's married and all of his kids have the word Chris in their name somehow.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm also kind of curious about Drunk Dad too.
Robert.
Yeah.
Not Rob. Robert.
Don't do the thing I did and make the Jack mistake from Mass Effect 2. Don't do that.
What was the Jack mistake?
If you are looking to romance Jack in Mass Effect 2, what do you not do?
You don't be nice to her?
No, you be nice to her, but you don't take her up on her offer.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. You gotta play it cool.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So operate on the exact same rules for Robert. Because I didn't realize what was happening until it was happening, and by the time it was happening, it was way too late.
He has a soft nougat core, not a hard candy core.
And he has the stupidest looking dog who is so great.
Oh,
wait for the opportunity to make love instead of the one night stand.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he has a really dumb. It's a terrier, I think. It might be a Boston Terrier, where it's the stupid big bug eyes kind of looking dog.
That's great.
I only know he has a dog because I bumped into him on my second date with Damien.
Yeah, the graveyard.
Of course.
Gosh, Damien's whole story and personality are freaking awesome and hilarious.
Yes, You say, of course, Boston, but it takes a massive turn from there when you learn more about him.
And that's exciting because, like, of course you want the goth dad to take you on a date to a cemetery, but, like, you want it to not be... You want him to not be, like, the unfeeling, stereotypical goth. You want him to be what the dads are in the game, which is, here is the stereotype I present myself as, but here's all the depth that lies underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dream Daddy's great.
Also, I hate Chris.
You hate Chris? Which one's Chris?
I think it's Chris. No, I don't. I nothing Joseph. I had nothing. No interactions with that dude at all.
Yeah.
No, the ex-college roommate guy.
Oh, Craig.
Oh, Craig.
Yeah.
Craig.
I don't.
I hate
I want nothing
I
to do
hate
with
him.
him.
No,
I
like
hate
when I never. So that second text message he sends you, where he's like, "I got the runs," I never went on with that. I'm like, I'm done with you, Craig. We're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
He made me do some weird rhythm game to try and keep my heart rate up while we were at the gym with that thing, and
No, thank you.
no, thank you. Special
dates or at the gym? No, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm already tired.
I am a sedentary being. Thank you very much. I will stay
Yeah.
exactly where I am. As a quick shout out, because it does sound like we're wrapping up pretty soon.
Yep.
Massive, massive props to the emoji team responsible for this game for using hearts liberally to show great selections,
Yes.
and then taking it one step further and throwing eggplants in the mix.
The first time I saw, like, hearts and eggplants fly out of someone, I was like, number one, that was the right choice. Number two, that's incredible. So
And
good.
The sweat icon is used liberally as well, which is
Yes.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Mad props for keeping this a PG game, kind of.
Yeah.
And
But, like,
just
with a wink.
throwing in all of those references. It's very
Yep.
Pixar movie kind of thing where it's just like,
Right.
you get this, don't you, Dad watching at home?
Right.
Wink.
Right. Dream Daddy. Alright, well, that's our episode for Dream Daddy. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We do not play games in December anymore. Just as a blanket thing, we take December. No,
Yep,
we don't play Game
the
Club
second
games.
December 1st hits.
That's
we
right.
stop playing video games.
Throw the consoles out.
We do our wrap-up episodes, and then we
That's
buy
right.
new consoles for Christmas, and then
Yeah.
January 1st we start to play them again.
God, that'd be so nice. No, we don't
new
do
consoles.
we don't do Game Club for December anymore because, as we found out 2 years ago, we don't have time. So, last year we took a break. This year, tune in next month for a very special episode that I will leave you to discover next month. So, thank you very much,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Yeah, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy turkey, whatever else you got going
Dude,
on.
Turkey Day's not for like 3 weeks, man. This month is weird.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand calendars anymore. 2019, you've broken me. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
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 And thanks for watching the video. Bye.